All right, well, the protesters aren't budging in Hong Kong, and neither, for that matter, Hong Kong authorities who want to crack down on them, and Chinese overlords who are already developing a PR strategy to handle this going forward. So they're kind of between both sides, a rock and a hard place going forward. South China Morning Post executive editor Chung-Yan Chow is here with his read on the situation. We were talking very briefly during the break, and it's very good to have you, how China wants to avoid any possibility of a Tiananmen Square. Can it?
Right. I think that a lot of people are drawing the comparison of what happened in Hong Kong with the Tiananmen Square incident 30 years ago. But there are some differences there. I mean, 30 years ago, the democracy movement happened right in Beijing, is in the capital of China. So it's under the nose, under the nose of the Communist Party. And then the demand is actually directly addressed to the Chinese government. So they don't have the kind of cushion in between. Now, this time, the movement in Hong Kong is, first of all, is targeting the Hong Kong government. The additional demand, like the demand for universal suffrage, greater political freedom, that will involve Beijing. But the target in mind is directly addressing by the protester is to the Hong Kong.
But they're clearly sending a signal to China, not too patient with this as well. I'm just wondering, at first it was about trying, Hong Kong residents, they could be shipped to China and go to trial, go to jail, disappear, whatever. And a lot of protesters says that ought to stop. They did, they stopped it.
Right.
It's not enough. Do you think the genie is out of the bottle? And now they're sensing this whole democracy wave, that is the protesters, and they're not going to stop.
Right. You put it very right. I mean, the genie is out of the bottle. So initially, the whole movement is only about this particular bill. But by now, even after they stopped the bill, it has already got a life of its own. So the next demand, of course, is look into this independent inquiry into alleged police brutality. But beyond that is actually for greater political freedom. 5 years ago, when Hong Kong have this political reform, with an end game of having a direct election to elect our chief executive, that process basically stopped because two sides cannot agree on the arrangement. And ever since then, we don't actually see a roadmap of how Hong Kong can have a strategy to get that ongoing again. I think that is the kind of frustration that drives a lot of people to these protests. But on the other hand, I think it will be too simplistic to paint this movement simply as a fight for democracy. I would rather term it as a populist movement because the movement has a lot of elements to that. The fighting for democracy is part of it, but it's not the entire thing about it.
But nevertheless, the U.S. Congress and the president has just signed off condemning these actions. I'm just wondering if they become part of the trade talks. So far, not really, but they could. Then what?
I don't think it will get too directly linked with trade talk. Certainly in Beijing's interest is Beijing doesn't want to mess the two things together.
And President Trump himself said he hopes that cooler heads prevail. He's kind of leaving it out of the trade discussion.
Yes, right? Because the trade discussion itself is already very complicated.
Yeah.
But it has to, I will call it, a side effect on trade talk. The first one is because this rising tide of nationalism in China. And a lot of the Chinese public, particularly among the young people, they have a very different view.
But do they see it? I know it's everywhere, beamed around the world. The argument was that not too many mainland Chinese see it.
No, that to a certain extent is true, but a lot of people actually do find about what's going on in Hong Kong because, first of all, we have a lot of students studying in Hong Kong, mainland students.
That's true.
So they actually, through social media, whatever, they will feedback to what they observe, what they see. The second part is also, these days, a lot of the information is actually not as strictly controlled as you would believe.
Is that right?
A lot of the people actually read it from all different other channels. Now, the one thing about this movement is actually we reported this before. In the beginning, when the movement first started, we see a lot of the young mainland students in Hong Kong coming out to support the movement, which is not surprising because they come to Hong Kong to study precisely because they like the lifestyle in Hong Kong. They like the greater political freedom. So when they think that this is under threat, of course they come out to defend it as well. But this is why I call it a populist movement, is the other element in the movement that is it's just very simply against everything Chinese, everything particularly from mainland. The mainland shops, a lot of the mainland shops get vandalized. The mainland banks getting attacked. A lot of the people, mainland people who cannot speak Cantonese feel unsafe in Hong Kong. So this flipped the mood. So we did another story later, and we interviewed those mainland students in Hong Kong. You find that the mood completely flipped to the other side. So there's, to a certain extent, there's a rising tide of nationalism in China, and they see Hong Kong in a very different light for various reasons.
But if Hong Kong's in a recession, right, and I don't know how reliable these figures are, and you know, having been there myself and knowing what a draw it is for businesses, and those businesses are working on abbreviated schedules, not all of them, you know this far better than I, it could become a self-fulfilling economic prophecy where it gets worse and worse. Then what does China do?
Yeah, I think the strange thing about Hong Kong right now is Hong Kong economy is basically built on finance, finance industry, and the property. So for the finance industry, actually, since the protest started in June, we tracked the data. And up until September, actually, the money flow through Hong Kong into China increased 8.5%.
Is that right?
Yes. That's against everyone's intuition.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you look at the stock market, actually, in the beginning, a lot of the investors get spooked and they put on hold the plan to list in Hong Kong. But now you start to see more companies come into Hong Kong for listing.
So you think this will not passes, but stabilizes?
Because the situation is complicated in the sense that all this unrest that happened at the street level, but they don't really have an immediate impact on the financial operation, financial sector. These days you do business mostly through internet, right?
Yeah,
you click the mouse, you don't even have to actually in the street of Hong Kong. As long as your company getting registered in Hong Kong, you can still use the benefits of the low tax regime, the stock connect arrangement, which connect the stock market in Hong Kong.
And you're right. Excuse me. The markets have indeed stabilized from where they were. I apologize. Chung-Yan Chow. I'm choking up over this. We'll have more after this.